How do you deal with the haters on social media?
I don't pay attention to them. Once in a while they piss me off and I'll say something, but they're not really haters.
It's been years since Paul Sr., the man who built American Chopper from a small New York garage into a global TV empire, sat in front of cameras with something real to say. But just moments ago, he finally did. And what he revealed has fans stunned, his critics confused, and the bike world whispering one question: why now? For decades, Paul Sr. was the face of rebellion on television. A no-nonsense craftsman who yelled, built, and bled his way into pop culture history. But behind the roar of the engines and the chaos of the shop, a quiet war was brewing, one that nearly ended his legacy for good. Bankruptcy filings, lawsuits, betrayals, and years of silence had fans wondering if the Chopper King had finally lost his crown. But today, in a message that broke the internet within minutes, Paul Sr. has come forward to set the record straight. This isn't another rumor, this isn't another rerun. What Paul Sr. just revealed about his future and about the truth behind Orange County Choppers changes everything. Don't skip this video, because what you're about to hear will make you see the entire story of American Chopper in a completely new light. Paul Sr. wasn't born into motorcycles, he came from steel. Long before the cameras rolled for American Chopper, Sr. ran a fabrication and ironworks business, Orange County Iron Works, in New York, shaping beams and structures rather than bikes. In 1999, he quietly founded Orange County Choppers, turning one of those steel fabrication shops into a custom motorcycle brand that would explode into the public eye. What many fans miss is that those early bikes were more built from Sr. structural metal mindset, bold frames, massive dimensions than the lean machines you'd expect from a traditional bike shop. By the time American Chopper premiered in early 2003, Sr. had already engineered his image. The mustached, tattooed patriarch barking orders, ripping metal, and pushing deadlines. But buried in that image was a rarely discussed fact. Sr.'s true fabrication roots meant his shop treated motorcycles like architectural projects. For example, the massive modern facility the company built in 2008 cost roughly $12 million and spanned 61,000 square feet. An industrial statement, not just a bike shop. Here's the twist. While the show made Sr. the face of custom bikes, he wasn't the creative designer. His son, Paul Jr., handled most of the actual design work early on. Sr., the role was the builder, the boss, the engineer-in-chief of metal and business. This division of labor is rarely emphasized in fan memory, but it's vital to understanding how conflict later emerged. In short, Sr. is a steel man turned TV star, someone who built the business foundation before the choppers, before the cameras. That vantage gives his current announcement more weight. The man who laid the groundwork isn't just a figurehead anymore, and what he's about to say comes from decades of real-world construction, risk, and reinvention. And yet, the story hasn't simply been one of uninterrupted ascent, and what came next would shake the entire world of custom bikes to its core. In early 2018, Paul Sr. filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy in the Southern District of New York. What many recall is the filing, but underrated in most retellings is the depth and structure of the financial collapse. The petition listed roughly $1.07 million in liabilities against about $1.8 million in assets. The bankruptcy plan hinged on the sale of his 38-acre New York estate, including machinery and personal inventory, which the court approved in June 2019. Meanwhile, he disclosed an income of just $16,530 per month in court filings, astonishing for someone whose brand once operated million-dollar projects. The merchandising arm of Orange County Choppers Hudson Valley Merchandising LLC filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in 2013, with over $1.44 million in liabilities and only about $1.12 million in assets. This show brand side business quietly drained resources even prior to the main filing. Perhaps the most surprising twist: court paperwork alleges that Paul Sr. transferred key fabrication assets from his steel shop company OC Ironworks to a related entity with weaker creditor protections, which triggered a fraudulent transfer complaint. In short, the man who built steel frames and bike empires was forced into a legal restructuring, asset sell-off, and low-income disclosure. And that set the stage for everything he's doing now. And in the years that followed, the very business deals that were supposed to save Orange County Choppers ended up pulling it into an even deeper storm. In 2017, Investor Thomas Derbyshire filed a lawsuit against Paul Sr., alleging misuse of funds originally allocated for a bike build video project, claiming that money meant for production and marketing was diverted to Sr. personal entities instead. A startling detail that often goes unnoticed. The subsidiary of Orange County Choppers, called Hudson Valley Merchandising LLC, filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy in 2013, listing over $1.4 million in liabilities, while the parent company remained solvent. Even more revealing, a complaint lodged in New York's bankruptcy court accused Sr. of transferring valuable fabrication assets from OC Iron Works to a newly formed LLC, a move flagged as fraudulent transfer by the bankruptcy trustee. In 2021, in Florida, Sr. and partners launched the OCC Roadhouse and Museum in Clearwater. But multiple investor complaints from Latin American groups alleged that the same project pitch was sold to 3 or 4 different investor groups, raising questions of duplication and misrepresentation. The long-term effect, these legal and investor pressure events pushed Sr. deeper into a restructuring mode, influencing his decision to shift operations, assets, and brand, focus less spotlight, more survival. That's when Paul Sr. made the boldest move of his career, not to fight the system, but to escape it. And his answer came from somewhere no one expected: Florida. After years of turbulence in New York, Paul Sr. did something most people didn't expect. He left it all behind. Not just the snow and high taxes, but the ghosts of a brand that had been sinking under its own weight. What looked like a relocation to Florida was, in truth, a calculated rebirth. Paul Sr. knew that if Orange County Choppers was going to survive in a new era, it couldn't stay chained to the same formula that made it famous. The move to Florida wasn't about sunshine or scenery, it was about strategy. In Clearwater, he found partners who understood that OCC wasn't just a motorcycle shop anymore, it was a lifestyle brand. The new OCC Roadhouse and Museum wasn't built for television, it was built for experience. A live venue, restaurant, museum, and custom-built studio all under one roof. For the first time, fans could eat, drink, and stand beside the very bikes they'd only ever seen on TV. But here's what most people don't know. The Florida pivot quietly restructured how Paul Sr. runs his empire. He separated his personal projects under Paul Sr., giving him freedom to create digital content, collaborate with influencers, and explore smaller, experimental builds that would have never made sense under the old OCC business model. Behind the public facade, he also renegotiated key supply and fabrication deals in the Southeast, cutting transportation costs and freeing his shop from reliance on the expensive New York networks that had drained profits for years. In many ways, Florida gave Paul Sr. more than a fresh start, it gave him leverage. The OCC brand now blends bikes, music, hospitality, and live experiences, turning his decades-old shop into a modern, revenue-diverse business. For a man who once made his name yelling across a cluttered workshop, Paul Sr. is now learning to let the engines, the fans, and the atmosphere do the talking. But every reinvention comes with a price, and this one might be higher than most realize. Because just as the Florida chapter began to shine, the television world started calling again, and Paul Sr. had to decide whether to stay in the shadows or step back into the spotlight that nearly destroyed him once before. Behind those museum walls, the man who once ruled television was quietly building his way back into it. Only this time, he wasn't waiting for a network to call. Paul Sr. isn't just riding out into the sunset, he's quietly engineering a return that few have caught on to. While the world knows about the relocation to Florida and the museum-restaurant combo, the next move is a subtle but calculated media strategy. Behind the scenes, Sr. has launched a new YouTube channel dedicated to unfiltered workshop footage, day-in-the-life vlogs, and custom builds under the title Paul Sr. Unchained. He's using this platform to build direct fan engagement, bypassing traditional TV networks entirely. Simultaneously, there's a lesser-reported alliance forming. Sr. has begun co-creating content with smaller digital creators, custom bike builders, tattoo culture influencers, and lifestyle vloggers to tap younger audiences. These collaborations are filmed live from the Florida facility, turning the museum into a content factory. More than that, Sr. is reportedly preparing for a revamp of the iconic brand name. While the OCC name remains strong, insiders say he's quietly testing a drop model strategy, limited batch bikes, exclusive live auctions at the Roadhouse, and NFT tied to custom builds. This approach suggests he's leveraging scarcity and digital fandom rather than mass TV exposure. Most surprising, Though his earlier show fame hinged on family drama, Father vs. Son, Sr. is moving toward community and culture charity rides, first responder events, and biker meet festivals tied to the Roadhouse. These are designed not just as events, but as content moments, live streams, VIP access, and build reveals. In short, while the camera lights of mainstream television may have dimmed, Paul Sr. is staging a comeback behind the scenes, one that's built for the digital age, where fan access, brand ownership, and live event experiences matter just as much as the bikes themselves. Paul Sr., he started stepping into places no one ever expected to see him, from political stages to national charity events, blurring the line between biker culture and mainstream influence. Paul Sr. has quietly stepped into a sphere few expected of the Chopper King politics and public symbolism. In 2024, he made a surprise appearance at the Republican National Convention, where he presented a custom bike to activist Riley Gaines, signaling a deeper engagement with conservative culture than most fans ever noticed. Sr. has started leveraging his brand for causes that sit at the intersection of patriotism and lifestyle. He built a one-off first responders tribute chopper and donated its auction proceeds to a fund supporting firefighters, providing a narrative shift from his earlier image as the loud boss in the workshop. On social media, his posts now mix vintage fabrication photos with endorsements and cultural commentary, catering to a demographic that spans bike enthusiasts and a politically engaged older audience. This repositioning matters because it redefines what the OCC brand stands for, not just custom bikes and TV drama, but a legacy tied to values, identity, and belonging. However, the rebranding isn't without risk. By aligning so openly with political cultural themes, Paul Sr. faces potential backlash from fans who loved him for metal and may not appreciate the messaging shift. Still, for Paul Sr., the move reflects an understanding that legacy is built not just with steel, but with stories people attach themselves to. The bikes, the brand licenses, the shop contracts, and the merchandise pipelines that survived every lawsuit, feud, and bankruptcy, those are the real heartbeat of Orange County choppers. And the truth is, even as the man changed, the business never completely stopped roaring. For most people, the statement was sealed and the cameras were off. But just seconds ago, Paul Sr. stepped forward with a revelation that sends a clear message. This isn't a farewell tour, it's the start of the next chapter. At age 76, when many expect a builder to slow down, he's instead accelerating. What people didn't know: he's quietly greenlighting an all-new build series under the banner Orange County Choppers Original, targeting a spring launch not on cable TV, but streaming platforms and a simultaneously live event rollout. He's pairing it with a high-stakes VIP mechanic challenge. 2 teams of bike builders compete for $1 million contract live from his Florida facility. Alongside that, he's launching a limited edition Legacy Series bike drop, only 50 units worldwide, that will come with fractional ownership options, a custom NFT, and lifetime VIP access to the museum and events. This blends old-school custom culture with modern investment models. And one standout piece, he formally announced a buyback clause for early OCC investors. After years of legal wrangling and brand structure issues, Paul Sr. is offering a rare clawback opportunity. Investors in the Roadhouse and Museum project can reclaim equity over the next 18 months if certain milestones aren't met. It's his way of rewriting legacy and re-establishing trust. Why now? Because the pillars of his business brand, assets, audience are stable enough to rebuild, and the marketplace has shifted. Streaming viewership is up, live event traffic is bouncing back, and custom bike culture is being reshaped by younger fans who want authenticity and access. Paul Sr. sees the convergence. He's not chasing past glory, he's architecting the future of OCC. So when you hear 1 minute ago Paul Sr. is breaking the news, no, he isn't retiring. He's rewiring his empire, and the machine behind the roar is already revving. Finally, major questions hang in the air. Will the announced streaming series truly launch in 2026? Can the new limited edition build strategy deliver at scale without repeating past debt cycles? And most importantly, does Paul Sr. still have unilateral control? Or are external investors and partners calling the shots now? In short, this isn't just a comeback story, it's a gamble. The machines are riding, the lights are on, and the stage is set. But if one of these new bets fails, the consequences could erase more than money, they could erase a legacy. Do you think Paul Sr. can reclaim the throne he built from scratch, or has his time already passed? Let us know your thoughts below, we read every comment. If you found this story eye-opening, Like this video, share it with other American chopper fans, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter in the lives of the people who shaped reality TV history. Because sometimes, the engines may stop, but the stories never do.